Blessed night, everyone. I am Ava Simon Edwards, and it is my absolute pleasure to welcome you to RAPTT's final event in celebration of Women's History Month. Throughout the month of March, RAPTT has been honoring and celebrating women, our stories, our strength, and our remarkable contributions. Tonight, we close this special month with something truly meaningful, our virtual cook-along, Thrive at the Table, focusing on women, wellness, and food. We are so excited to have with us the remarkable Dr. Natalie Palmer. Dr. Natalie Palmer, DCN, wears many hats. Associated Director of Technological Operations, Certified Business Relationship Manager, Doctor of Clinical Nutrition, Master of Science in Information Systems, Certified Raw Foods Vegan Chef, and Educator. Dr. Natalie Palmer is a clinical nutritionist, systems strategist, and educator who bridges technology, cellular biology, and lifestyle medicine. As the founder of Elegantly Raw Cuisine,
Okay, all right. So
as the founder of Elegantly Raw Cuisine and Cellular Therapeutics, she develops evidence-based protocols that targets restoration at the cellular level through botanicals, whole food supplementation, metabolic repair, detoxification science, and therapeutic living foods. Her work centers on the principle that dysfunction begins at the cellular level, and so does healing. Drawing from peer-reviewed research in nutritional biochemistry, insulin signaling, inflammation pathways, and gut hormone communication, she designs structured programs that address root causes rather than symptoms. Her philosophy is grounded in both science and scripture, reflecting the original plant-based blueprint described in Genesis 1:29, affirming that food, when properly applied, is a powerful medicine. She advocates that food is not just entertainment. It can be delicious and also medicine. It communicates information to ourselves, and if properly prepared, can nourish our body to reverse many conditions. So, with our aprons on and tools ready, we are thrilled to welcome Dr. Natalie Palmer as she leads us in this engaging cook-along, sharing healthy, delicious alternatives to our everyday food. Dr. Palmer, the virtual table is yours.
Thank you, Sister Ava. Thank you for that beautiful introduction and that heartfelt opening. To RAPTT, I want to also thank you so much for creating this space to celebrate women, to honor women, not just in what they do on a day-to-day business, but also in their health. And to everyone joining us tonight, I know you had a long day and you could have been anywhere else, but you choose to be with us tonight. So a heartfelt and big welcome to you as well. I am so happy that you joined us tonight. Well, I hope you have your aprons and I hope you have your ingredients ready. Or if you don't have your ingredients, I hope you have your notepads ready because I'm going to be sharing lots of health-related information during this food demo. One thing I want to share as well is that tonight's session is about thriving at the table. What does that mean? It is about really understanding what your food does to you on your plate. When we put food on our plate, we have to understand that the food on our plate communicates to ourselves when eaten. So we have to prepare the food in the right way so that the communication between the food, the bioactive compounds in the food, can communicate with the cells in our bodies. You see, my friends, food is just not entertainment. Food is medicine, and food carries information. For example, beets. I know you eat beets, often eat beets. Beets are filled with nitrates. But when we prepare the beets properly, right, where we don't roast them, where we don't barbecue them, when we prepare them rightly, the nitrates in those beets are converted to nitric oxide with the other active compounds within the beet, like the vitamin C, antioxidants. Those active compounds that in those beets communicate to our cells to change, to convert the nitrates to nitric oxide. So that's the bioactive communication in the food. When we think about cruciferous vegetables, most of us cook our cruciferous vegetables, but cruciferous vegetables contain sulforaphane. For your body to unlock sulforaphane, you need to activate the myrosaphane in the cruciferous vegetable. If you cook your cruciferous vegetable, you are deactivating that bioactive compound. And therefore, you cannot unlock the sulforaphane in those cruciferous vegetables that will open up your detoxification channels in your body. The food has to open up those detoxification channels, right? You're not just going to eat cooked broccoli or eat cooked cabbage and then your body knows what to do. Some people have estrogen imbalances or estrogen excess. You need the cruciferous vegetables. You need the sulforaphane in those cruciferous vegetables to help to detox the excess estrogen. So what I would like you to do tonight is pay attention to how I'm preparing the food. Pay attention to how what I'm using fats or oils in my preparation. Pay attention to the intentionality about the ingredients, because I'm thinking that our food is medicine. And when I put the ingredients together, I'm creating a therapeutic meal that we can enjoy, that tastes good and look good as well. Most of us eat today a very mucus-forming meal, highly toxic meal, and foods void of natural healing compounds, right? Like antioxidants, right? We are eating food that are void of these compounds. In my research and my motivation for this menu, I came across some data. It said that women in Trinidad and the Caribbean diaspora are dying due to non-communicable diseases that are linked to diet and lifestyle. These are things we can control. We control our diet and we can control our lifestyle, right? The top five diseases that we're dying from is heart disease is number 1, diabetes is number 2, hypertension is number 3, obesity is number 4, and I can't remember what the last one, I think was something to do with the womb, right? So which means we have a choice. We can make a decision on what we put on our plate so that we can thrive at the table, so that we can thrive for long-term health, so that our hormones are influenced by good food, so that our cells can get the nourishment it needs so that it can start healing our bodies. All right, so enough talking. So let's jump right into the recipe. So tonight I have 6 delicious dishes to share with you. I'm not going to go in the order of the recipe slide, the menu that I sent, due to time. So I'm going to take the most challenging dishes first. So we're going to start with our turmeric, our golden seed latte. We're going to start with that first. And then the second recipe, we're going to do our tropical banana rocky road velvet bliss. And then I'll tell you what we're doing next after that. So I hope you're ready. So while I put my gloves on, get your ingredients together for the golden sea moss latte. All right. All right. So now, so for this first recipe, we need some coconut milk, and you have the measurements, so I wouldn't be calling the measurements out. You need ginger and turmeric root. You notice I have ginger and turmeric root, but I know some of you may not be able to get ginger and turmeric root, and you'll be using the powder. That's fine. This was not in the recipe, but I'm adding a tablespoon of coconut oil. If you have it, you can add it. If not, don't worry about it. And I'm adding 2 tablespoons of sea moss. And then I'm adding dates as my sweetener. They are very natural. And they add quercetin to the drink. And then I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla extract. So most of you might have noticed I did not call black pepper. Typically, people are using black pepper to help with the absorption of turmeric. I'm going to let you know I don't use black pepper in my turmeric drinks because I drink it a lot, maybe a couple times during the week. And if you do some research, you would find out that black pepper, the pepperin in black pepper, that's responsible for the absorption of the curcumin in the turmeric, is also responsible for micro tears in your stomach, which can also cause over time leaky gut and structural damage to your stomach and your gut. I know this is new. I am not making this up. So I'm going to challenge you to do your research, okay? So I do not use black pepper. Now I'll tell you why they use black pepper. They use black pepper because they have removed the curcumin and put it in a capsule. Now God in his wisdom has given us turmeric root. Man in their want for selling something that they can make money of has removed the curcumin, put it in a capsule because they need to stabilize it. So they remove all the oils and all the beneficial ingredients that work synergistically with the curcumin for absorption. So they put it in a capsule and they said you need black pepper so it will be absorbed and you have to buy it. But God would not leave us wanting. So curcumin is a fat-soluble compound. So you need a fat in order for it to absorb. So this is why I have coconut milk, thick coconut milk, and I added the extra boost of pure raw coconut oil. Okay. Also, turmeric root works synergistically with ginger, and all the compounds between the turmeric and the ginger and the quercetin in the dates will help your curcumin to absorb. And you would absorb exactly what you need in your body without creating micro tears in your gut or in your stomach, which over time could lead to bleeding in your stomach. If you have a sensitive gut or sensitive stomach, it will make the situation worse. So my friends, the Bible says we suffer or perish due to lack of knowledge. So do your research and you can fact check me on that one. All right, so let's get going. So to our blender, we're going to add our coconut milk. Okay, I love a lot of turmeric in my drink, so I'm gonna put a lot of turmeric in there. And I do like the little zing from the ginger. So we're gonna blend this up. Okay. I'm gonna leave the other ingredients for last because I want to strain this and then add it to the heat to warm up a little bit, and then I'll add the remaining ingredients. All right, due to time, I'm going to strain it into my pan. I'm going to strain it, and then I'm going to add the remaining ingredients. and then gently warm it on the stove. It smells really good. So I'm just gonna strain it. If you have a milk bag, you can do that as well. Right. So I'm sure most of you know that turmeric is very good. It's anti-inflammatory. And when you put this to heat on the stove, you don't want to boil it. You want to let it simmer for no longer than 15 minutes because you would start breaking down the bioactive compounds in the turmeric that are responsible for reducing inflammation in the body, okay? So you want to put it on a low fire and gently warm it, okay? We'll see if we can do that while I jump to the other recipe, but you'll have to remind me it's warming behind me, okay? All right. Also, turmeric is very good for brain health. It helps to improve the health of the brain and improve the brain cells. All right, so I'm gonna put it on a low heat. I'm gonna blend the rest of the stuff and I'm gonna put it on a low heat. So put it back in the mug. Then I'm gonna add the Irish moss. And add the coconut oil. That's the coconut oil is for the extra boost. And raw extra virgin coconut oil, unprocessed, does have an acid in it called lauric acid, which is antimicrobial, and it helps to help heal the body. But I didn't mean to, you don't have to drink coconut oil every day. I use coconut oil more therapeutically than in everything that I prepare, okay? All right, so I'm gonna give it one more whisk and blend everything up and then put it on the fire. All right, so as I said, I'm just gonna put it on low fire. I just wanted to add as well that if you want to put quercetin rich foods in here, you have to do your research and find different quercetin foods that will work with your drink. Now, in the Caribbean, bananas and plantains are rich in quercetin, so you can use those. And the benefit from green banana, if you just put a little bit in there, not to change the flavor, you have to play around with what tastes best for you. The benefit of green banana as a quercetin-rich ingredient here is that it provides resistant starch. Resistant starch is what you need to heal the lining of your gut, okay? It closes up those junctions from people who are suffering from leaky gut. It feeds the bacteria between your villi and your inner gut lining, right? That bacteria is protective and prevents leaky gut. So you need those, you need that resistant starch in the green banana. The banana has to be green for the resistant starch. If the banana is ripe, you still get the quercetin, but you don't really get the resistant starch. So you can choose which one you want, right? All right, so I'm going to warm this up. You can also do guava. Guava juice is good. It's high in quercetin as well. I'm trying to think what else in the Caribbean. But in the States, those who are apples are rich in quercetin. You can probably buy quercetin powder somewhere. All right, so I'm going to put it on a low. And somebody needs to remind me of the time, okay? All right, so the next recipe that I'm jumping into is the Tropical Banana Rocky Road Velvet Bliss. All right, so I'm just gonna get set up for that second recipe. All right, so what do we need for the second recipe here? All right, so we're gonna bring those things over for the second recipe. All righty. We need some bananas. Let's make the carob sauce first, and then I'll get the bananas. I don't want them to thaw too soon. All right, so for this recipe, we're gonna make the carob sauce first, and then we will get the bananas, and then we would add them to the sauce. So for this recipe, you'd need some this is my almond butter that I made, freshly made almond butter. You need some carob powder, and you might be thinking, oh, let me use cacao powder. While cacao has its purposes and its uses, this particular recipe is focusing on women's health in terms of the need for calcium, the need to reduce oxalates as you get older, and there's a greater need for more bone health focus, right? This recipe contains calcium and magnesium, which works very well to help to heal your bones, because as you get older, you lose estrogen. And the loss in estrogen, that estrogen is more like a protective hormone. And as you lose estrogen, as you start going through that perimenopause, premenopause, menopause cycle, you start losing that estrogen, and then you start to get things like bone fractures, more fractures. You start to get things like heart diseases. So as you get older, you need to understand, what do I need to eat to keep my bone health intact? What do I need to eat to keep my heart health intact, right? Because as I said, estrogen is protective of the heart and is also protective of the bones, right? So the carob, together with the magnesium, and there's no oxalates in carob. If we use cacao or chocolate powder or whatever you call it, it contains oxalates, and oxalate is an anti-nutrient which prevents the absorption of calcium. So that's the reason behind using carob. Okay, so, and then, this has a lot of fiber in it as well. And as remember, I just said, I talked about the diseases in the diaspora and in Trinidad, and the #1 disease is heart disease. I just did a presentation a couple of weeks ago on heart health, and what the research was showing is that the #1 driver for heart disease is low fiber. We don't eat enough fiber. I know you like your meat, but meat has no fiber, it has no antioxidants, it has no bioactive compounds that does anything that I know. Yes, you'll get your protein, but there's nothing in there that will help heal your body, really. Maybe some protein. So that's why we're using the carob. And then you need like a pinch of salt to help bring out the sweetness, because it's a dessert. A little bit of vanilla extract to bring out the flavor. Half a cup of thick coconut milk. And then I'm using coconut jelly. I hope you found coconut jelly, because this is all over the Caribbean, and especially in Trinidad and Tobago. So coconut jelly, but if you didn't find it, you just add an extra half cup of thick coconut cream. And then I'm adding lecithin. Lecithin, and I'm specifically talking about sunflower lecithin. I would like to use other lecithin powders, but soy lecithin might be if you don't get a good brand, it might be contaminated with things that you don't want in your recipe. So this is sunflower lecithin, and what lecithin does, it adds creaminess to the recipe, but it also adds a therapeutic benefit. 1 tablespoon of sunflower lecithin every day helps to lower bad cholesterol, and it also helps to boost the brain cells. So this is why I add the lecithin into the recipe as well. All right, so we would start blending up the cream. We're gonna start blending up the cream. So let me just add this ingredients to the recipe, into the flour. So I'm gonna add the coconut meat in there. And then I'm going to add in the coconut milk. I have a little bit more. I have a little bit more almond butter than I planned for. So I'm just gonna add about 3/4 of this. I made it in my own style, so it's very thick. It's not that watery type of almond butter. Then I'm going to add the vanilla extract, the pinch of salt, and we're gonna add, I said 1/4 to 1/2 cup of carob powder, but I know we get different brands and every brand is different in terms of sweetness. Now, carob has its own natural sweetness versus if you use cacao. Cacao is a little bitter and it does not sweet. You have to put a lot of sugar to make it taste good. So we're aiming for foods where we don't have to add sugar because sugar is not a food, all right? Fat, oil is not a food either. So you notice I haven't add oils in here more than natural fat. And the so I'm gonna add most of the carob and then you taste it. And if you need to add more carob, you add more carob, right? So some carobs may be stronger than the other. All right, and I'm gonna add the lecithin while the blender is moving to avoid clumping, all right? Let's see. All right, so let's see what it looks like. It's nice and thick. I'm gonna trust that it tastes good. Oh, I'll try it in a little bit. Let's see. All right, so I'm now gonna add the lecithin while the blender is moving to avoid the lecithin from clumping. Right, so I'm gonna taste it and see if it tastes good, if it needs more carob powder. It definitely needs some sweetener. So you can add some more sweetener in here, like your dates or more dates or something like that. But I think it would pick up enough sweetness from the bananas. So if it doesn't taste sweet enough for you, wait until you get to the bananas, okay? It's very peanut buttery tasting. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the carob. Very almond buttery tasting. That's what I want to say. Almond buttery tasting. All right. I hope your golden sea moss latte is warming on the stove for and a low heat. I'm gonna take mine off. All right, so that's our cream here. I'm just gonna put it over here. And now we're going to take the bananas out and then add the bananas to my food processor. And then I'm gonna add the cream in there so that the bananas will start folding into the sauce, all right? I'm gonna keep my extra carob here and keep this here as well because we're not done with this recipe. Should I put it over here? So just give me a minute to change out my blender. Bring this in here, and I'm gonna grab my bananas. And I told you to start the recipe with cold equipment. That's so that your ice cream has a better chance of holding or freezing faster. So I had this in the fridge. So now I'm gonna add the bananas. Okay, so let's just add those bananas in there. Oh, I missed the cup there. I think fell to the floor. Gonna chop them up here while they're frozen. So today I am going to show you 2 ways in which you can make this. I will be using my ice cream maker, but you can use your fridge or you can enjoy it right out of the food processor once we're done, right? So how's my peanut milk thing going there? We'll jump back into recipe 1 in a minute. All right. All right, so let's see how this is looking. Oh, put it a bit. All right, you don't want to break out the thing up, so let's. All right, so I'm gonna add the. It refuses to open. So now we're just gonna drizzle the sauce over the ice cream. It's so thick it doesn't want to come out, so I'll use my spatula. So you want the sauce to be thick, right? So that the ice cream will be nice and creamy. So that's why we add the almond butter, and we may use a thick cream. All right. All right. Add a little bit of coconut oil here to just rinse out the container. A little bit. Help to unlock the cream. I hope you guys are doing well and cooking along. I'm not hearing from anybody. All right, lots of cream in here. Let's get it blending. Just a little bit in there I want to clean out. You want to keep all of it. All right, let's see. All right, so all right, looks like it's moving around in there. Ooh, look at that. I'm just gonna give some more chops to my bananas. How are you guys going? I'm just gonna help my banana chop a little better. Running my knife through the bananas. All right. Just continue to process it. Scrape the sides down if you need to scrape your sides down, which I do. It is nice and creamy. Let me show you what it looks like. All right. So I think my I'm gonna turn off my tea for a minute. Pulsing the food processor to help chop the bananas up. All right, I'm gonna run it now. All right, once your bananas are fully integrated in the sauce, you taste it. Does it need anything else? More vanilla extract? What might it need? You can start adding in your your chips and a little bit of walnuts in there to give you that Rocky Road finish. Right. Right, so I think that's processed enough. So I'm gonna add in my pecans. So I'm just gonna fold it in, right? Because I don't want the pecans to get chopped up with the blender, with the blades. And I'm gonna put in a few of the banana chips. All right, so with this, you could actually literally just give me that blender. You probably just use your spatula and mix it in if you don't want to run your food processor. So at this point, I can take it off the food processor and I can show you what it looks like. It's very thick and creamy. So you could enjoy this right now as a soft serve. Or if you want it to be more ice creamish, you can add it to a container, stick it into your freezer, and then let it get a lot more firmer. During the time, you may need to just mix it around a little bit, but that's what it would look like. See? Now I'm going to use my ice cream maker and then I'm going to show you what it looks like from the refrigerator. All right. Now my ice cream maker takes about 20 minutes to make this. All right, so let me show you what it looks like from my refrigerator here. Okay, so this one I did earlier and I put it in a glass container. So you see, this is what it would look like. So all you need to do now is to let it sit outside for a few minutes and get defrost, maybe 5 to 10 minutes, and then you can use your and then you can start enjoying this. So I sprinkle some carob chips and pecans on top. So we'll see what this looks like in about 5 to 10 minutes. I'm just gonna put it over here. And then I'm gonna set up my ice cream maker so that we can put this in our ice cream maker. And enjoy it. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna drop this in here. Oops, we have somewhere. There. Very cool. need to, oh. So let me just put my gloves on so that we can. All right. So now we're just going to get this in here. We just make sure. All right. All right. So now, just gonna pour the ice cream into my ice cream maker. And you don't need an ice cream maker for this, but if you really want nice homemade ice cream, you get one of these. Oh, very thick. All right. All right, so any questions so far while I'm putting this in this ice cream maker?
So I left some of my mixture from before the chocolate mixer to put onto my ice cream once I take it out of the freezer.
Yes, that's good. That's good. So you made the first recipe already?
The turmeric?
Yes.
Yes, it's on the stove. I just turned it off.
All right. Get back to that in a minute there. Perfect. Are you using an ice cream maker? Or you're gonna just eat it right off the for the ice cream. All right. I'm gonna continue. Otherwise you watch that. Okay, so when you're making it your how are you making your ice cream? How are you making your ice cream, Miss Christy?
How did I make my ice cream?
How are you making it?
I just took it out of from the food processor and put it in a container and put it in the freezer.
All right, so this is going to churn for about 20 minutes. Is it noisy or should I remove it?
No, we're not hearing it.
You're not hearing it, but you can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So I'll let that churn for about 20 minutes. And we'll jump right back into our recipe one. So right about now, your turmeric golden sea moth latte should have been warmed up. So we're gonna put it in our nice cup here. And then you can just sprinkle it with a little bit of cinnamon. And then I'm gonna just decorate it with a little bit of turmeric slices there. You can just a little bit of turmeric slicing. So So have you tried your turmeric sea moss latte, your golden sea moss latte?
This is my end product. Are you seeing it?
No, they have to change the view so I can see it.
Oh.
Oh my goodness, it's very rich in color. You want to taste it and tell us how it looks or it tastes?
Oh, tastes delicious.
Wonderful.
It is something that I would drink.
Right. All right, I'm going to show you what my end product looks like. Anybody else want to share what their end product looks like? I'm going to show you what my end product looks like. I don't want to mess my screen up, but I want to show you what it looks like. So that's my end product. And I would take pictures and I would send it to you so you can see the finished product. All right, so that wraps up. Can you, anybody else wants to share? So that wraps up our recipe 1. So while our recipe 2 is churning here, for those who did a for those who are going to try the glass container method, I have some here. I'm just gonna see what it looks like. I'm gonna use my ice cream scoop. It's kind of still stiff here. Let's let it defrost a little bit more before we defrost it. Still needs to defrost a little. I'm gonna taste my milk drink. It is very, very good. Very good. I love it gingery. I taste the ginger and the turmeric. It's really good and it's very creamy. All right, so recipe number 3. We are gonna make our cultured sunflower seed herb pate. Okay? So gather your ingredients for recipe number 3, and I'll get mine as well. All right, I have recipe number 3 here. And then recipe number 3 will be followed by recipe number 4, which is your infused zucchini wraps, infused beet zucchini wraps. We're gonna fill those wraps with sunflower pate and some vegetables. Okay, so get recipe 4 ready as soon as I'm done with this recipe. I need to put also. All right, so okay, so for this recipe, we would need first a bowl to mix it in. But for this recipe, you need your sunflower seeds. I said to soak them. I did soak mine and sprout them. And the sprouting makes the nutrients within the sunflower seed. It makes them more bioavailable to your cells. So this is why I sprouted mine. Soaking them works as well, but if you let them go one more step and sprout them, then they become highly bioavailable nutrients for your cell. All right. We need some lemon juice, some little bit of turmeric powder just for functionality. It will just give it a nice yellow tone. And then we're gonna add some bell peppers to the recipe because I like to add veggies when I use nuts to give a balance between nuts and vegetables. I'm gonna add a little bit of nutritional yeast. You don't have to add the nutritional yeast, but the nutritional yeast adds some B vitamins and a nice sort of a cheesy flavor. You just have to be careful to get the right brand of nutritional yeast. And then I'm gonna add some herbs. I'm adding cilantro here, but you can add what do we have in the Caribbean? Shadow benny. You can add shadow benny. Now, cilantro helps to detoxify heavy metal. So this is why I like adding cilantro to my menu. And of course, we're gonna add some fresh garlic. And garlic is antioxidant. And know when you cook the garlic, you kill a lot of the bioactive compound properties in the garlic when you actually cook it. So we're gonna use it raw. And then I'm gonna add about a capsule or two of probiotics. So this particular recipe is gut loving, gut friendly, and it's going to help improve the microbial diversity in the gut because we're adding the probiotics in here. So I'm looking for probiotics that are like lactobacillus and the Biffle varieties, okay? And of course, we're gonna do the lemon juice to help make everything taste wonderful. All right, so I'm gonna get the blender running, the food processor running. And I'm gonna put the food processor on. And then I'm gonna drop the garlic in here so it gets minced up on the plate, okay? All right, so you see how the blade is just chopping up the blender, the garlic. All right. So now I want to add in the sunflower seeds. I think I have a little bit more here than I planned for. I'm gonna add the sunflower seeds. You're gonna add some bell pepper. And this pepper will give it a nice yellow color, plus add additional antioxidants in here for your health. And the turmeric really acts to give it color. That's the reason why I added it. Okay. All right, let's get it blended again. Add as much lemon juice as you need. You may need to scrape it down. You don't want the recipe to be to have too much liquid in it. So just add enough lemon juice as needed. All right. Your sunflower seeds are really high in vitamin E. So I'm gonna let this run for a little bit. All right, let's scrape it down some more. You want to make sure the nuts are broken down, but it's not like a soup, right? We don't want a soup. All right. We can pulse in the herb or we can mix it in. So we'll just pulse it in. Now don't blend it. It's gonna turn everything green. All right, that's it right there. So I'm going to transfer it to a I'm going to transfer it to a bowl. All right, so this is transferred to the bowl. All right. I didn't add salt, so I'm gonna add a little salt for flavor. And I'm gonna taste it. Let's add a little salt. And add a little salt. And then now I'm going to fold in my probiotic capsules. As I said, the probiotic makes this a gut-friendly, gut-healing dish because it helps to diversify the microbes in your gut. And I'm sure most of you heard that disease begins in the gut, but I'm going a little further to say, disease begins in the gut cells, at the cellular level in the gut, because all over your body have cells. Every organ starts from the foundation of a cell. So your gut also starts from the foundation of a cell. And science describes it like this. The first noticeable or identifiable layer of the human organisms begins at the cellular level, at the cell level. So you take one cell and the cell, they come together and they make tissues. And then your tissues create organs. And then your organs come together and they form organ systems. And the organ systems all come together and they create you and me. So if I am sick or if you are sick, where should you start your healing from? You should start your healing from the foundation of the building, which is your cells. And this is why I focus on healing from the cellular level. Heal the cell, you will heal the tissue, and then you will heal the organ. So we are going to heal the cell of the gut by increasing the microbial diversity. All right, so we're going to add some probiotics in there. One capsule should be enough. I do have two, but one should be fine. And we're just going to mix it up. I'm going to use a fork. And then you can taste it and see if it tastes good. Let me taste it now. I think it's really good, but you can also add a little cayenne pepper to it, which I didn't add. But I think it's really good and it's good for the next step. Now with this, you can just enjoy it with crackers. You can enjoy it on a wrap. You know, like if you have a spinach wrap or some kind of wrap, you can enjoy this on a wrap. You can enjoy it on a salad, next to a salad. You can wrap it in cabbage leaves with tomatoes. So you can enjoy this in many different ways. Now, if you let this sit overnight, the probiotics, the microbials from the probiotics will start to multiply and they would break down this mixture a little more. Okay. And it would taste really like a cheese, kind of cheesy taste, I think. But I think this is really good. And so we're going to use this now to do your beet infused zucchini rolls or wraps. All right. So I'm going to rest this on the side. And I'm going to get this back up here. And then I'm going to grab some other things. So you should have prepared your beets from last night. Should have infused them yesterday. All right, so those of you who found zucchini would have infused your zucchini with beet juice. And if you didn't have zucchini, you would have used cucumber strips. And this is the cucumber strips here. They are very red. And you see how they are infused with the beet juice. These are cucumber strips. So you can use the cucumber strips. And I'm going to show you what the beet looks like. All right. Anybody made the pate, the sunflower pate, and have any questions? So these are your zucchini ones. And these are what they look like as well. They're very red. And don't throw the water away. You can put it in a smoothie or make a dressing or something with it. All right. So this is a really simple one. You're just going to start making the wraps, okay? So I'm going to set them up right here so that we can make it. So for your wraps, you would need anything that you would like to put in them. So for my wraps, I'm going to add to them some arugula, some julienne bell peppers, avocados, and some pickled onions, and a little bit more cilantro I'm going to put into my wraps, okay? And then put me honey. Right. A lot going on here that we don't want to. All right, so let's get started. I'm just going to move my blender, my processor for a minute. So we can get more room. All right, so let me get started. So I'm going to have a working plate, and then I'm going to have a demo plate. So I'm going to prep my demo plate first, okay? So I'll move from my working plate to my demo plate. And I told you can have any dressing of your own. I made my own dressing. And this is a pine sauce I made. All right. So I'm going to use my pine sauce as a dressing for my wrap. All right. I guess I've used all my sauce. I was trying to save some, but maybe we gotta use all of it. All right. So I also put a little turmeric in my sauce that makes it that bright color. All right. So I prepared my demo plate. And I'm gonna move it over here. Okay, just checking on the ice cream. All right, so let's begin. I will need a little bit of, I am going to use zucchini. If you want to use your cucumbers, you can. But I'm going to use zucchini. And I also want to make sure that the zucchini doesn't have a lot of water. So I'm just going to pat it dry. I'm going to line them up 3 at a time. 1. Right? Try to get them the same size ones together, okay? 2. When you place them, make sure they're overlapping on the edges. Right. So I'm just going to use 3 for the wrap. So you see I'm using 3 and they overlap at the edges, all right? And they're about the same size. This is what you want your wraps to start off looking like, or your spirals to look like. All right. So now we are going to start filling this. I generally like to make sure all my wrap gets a little taste of the pate. So I kind of spread it out, right? Very thin because I just want it to get everything. Okay. All right. Now the pate spread will also help keep the other veggies together. So I start off with spreading the sunflower seed herb pate across the whole wrap. And then now I'm gonna add my, whatever I wanna put in there. Let me slice up my avocado before I begin. You wanna do the avocado very thin because you don't want it to break your wrap when you roll it. I might even cut those thinner, but we'll see. So let's do a layer of arugula, spinach, whatever you have, wherever you are. And so let's start here with some greens, I guess. So put your greens down on the side that is closer to you. Okay. So there you go. You just want a little nesting edge of the side that's closer to you. Like that. The side that is closer, you put some greens down. Don't put too much because you don't want to have it pop, okay? Now I do like a little bit more. I'm putting a little bit more cilantro. Gonna add a little bit more cilantro because I like cilantro. And I'm gonna add a few peppers, julienne peppers. And I do have my pickled onions. So these are just onions that has been sliced. And I put them in some lemon juice and a little bit of salt. And I took the tang from the onion out of it. Very nice, a little salty. I'm gonna add a little bit more of the pate. I'm gonna add the avocado. I'm gonna have to cut it a little thinner than I did so that it wouldn't break my wrap. So everything is piled up on one side of the pate, right? So now I'm going to start wrapping. I'm just going to use, you can use a knife to help you lift the edges up. You want to make sure you lift the 3 of them up together And then you start turning away from you. That's okay if they start to separate, just put them back in place. And then you start wrapping again. You can put a little bit more pate on the edge if you want it to hold. And then you keep rolling, okay? So that's what it looks like. And then I'm gonna transfer it to my clean environment. This is what the wrap will look like. So now I'm gonna move it over to my demo plate. All right, using a knife to help me to pick it up from the bottom so it wouldn't make a mess. All right, there you go. So I'll show you what it looks like in a clean environment. This is what it looks like in the clean environment. So I'm going to do one more because we don't want it to stay all alone by itself. So you want to give it some company. So do another one. So let's do it again. In case you missed it the first time, we want to get 3 zucchini slices that all are closely alike in size. And we're going to put it on the plate. All right, that's one. Oh, you know what it is? I think I left the fridge open. All right. Give me 1 second, sorry. Sorry, I left my fridge open, so I had to close it. All right, so we're gonna dry off the extra liquid. And then we're gonna do 3. Make sure they're overlapping properly. All right, so here you go. 3 strips, 3 slices, they're overlapping. All right, so when you roll it, the wouldn't separate. All right, so I'm gonna put the glue, which is the pate, across the entire spread. All right. But you see it's completely covered in the pate. That helps with additional functionality where you can keep the slices together when you roll it. So now I'm going to add, again, I'm going to start with a base of greens, arugula, or whatever you can find. Microgreens, sprouts, whatever you can find. All right. Then we're going to add a little bit of my cilantro or whatever herbs you want to add, you can add. I like the extra herbs. If I had some olives, I'll put olives in here as well. And I said the beet infusion brings in that nitrates so that your body can do the conversion to nitric oxide. And I hope you remember that I said that the bioactive ingredient in here, which is the nitrates and the nitric oxide, that creates the vasodilation in your body. It has to speak to your cells. If you prepare the food incorrectly and you don't get the vasodilation, that you're not preparing your food properly, right? So we have to eat. We have to change our mindset and how we think about our food. We have to change our mindset and how we think about our food. You know, the food that my grandmother grew up on is not the food that we have the privilege of eating today. The food today is highly toxic. The grains are toxic. It causes inflammation in your joints and in your gut. So we have to think about if we want to continue eating bread and grain products. right? We have to think about eating the food that was given to us in nature and how we can use that food in a way that is healing to our bodies. We have to change our mindset, right? The cassava my grandmother grew up on, if it's commercialized, they're using toxic pesticides and herbicides to keep the grass down. So we really need to take hold of our health. We need to be proactive, right? When we go shopping, when we prepare our foods, we need to decide, is my food going to cause inflammation? Or is my food is going to heal my body? Would my food speak to my cells? Would my food nourish my cells? All right, or is it going to create an inflammatory state in my body, creating to joint pains, early aging? You know, early aging is not part of nature. We shouldn't be aging and having pains and all these different things that they tell us we're supposed to have at 50, okay? We don't need to have joint pains at 50. We don't need to have arthritis at 60, right? We have to decide, do we want to thrive at the table and try for the rest of our life? Or we want to live the rest of our life in pain and in separation when we can make changes to diet and lifestyle, right? Anyway, let's continue. So let me add now the peppers. And we're going to add the avocados. And the pickled onions. You can add raw onions if you like raw onions. I think I added cilantro, right? Yes. And then I'm going to add a little bit more of the pate. And then I'm going to start rolling now. So I'm going to use my little handy dandy tool. You can use a knife, a butter knife. And make sure you get under all the strips. And then start turning away from you. And that's okay. All right, I have to check the ice cream in a minute. It's signaling to me something is happening there. All right. So there you go. So now I'm going to transfer. I just put it on a clean glass. I'm going to transfer the beet infused rolls or wraps to the clean environment. All right. So here it is now. I'm finished with mine. I moved it over to the clean environment. And I'm going to garnish it now. Let me check my ice cream for a minute. I think it's ready. I'm going to turn it towards me so I can see what's happening here. Oh, stop. Ooh, I stopped the ice cream. We'll take a look at it in a minute, okay? Okay, so now I'm just going to garnish the wraps and I'm going to sprinkle some sprouted lentils. I know we're not used to sprouted lentils, but the sprouted lentils are easy to digest. Now, I told you could steam your lentils because you're not used to sprouted lentils, but when you sprout lentils, the nutrients in the lentils become bioavailable, and you don't kill the heat-sensitive bioavailable bioactive compounds in the food. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of lentils around here. This would add extra protein. Okay. And I'm also going to sprinkle some broccoli sprouts here. I hope you know the benefit of broccoli sprouts. Broccoli sprouts are very high in sulforaphane. That has been studied for its beneficial properties or therapeutic use for people who have cancer, especially if you're trying to clear excess estrogen. Because the sulforaphane is so high in these sprouts, it helps to activate your cellular detoxification pathways in the body. So this is why sometimes we might want to eat our food in its most natural state. If you cook any cruciferous food, you will kill that compound, the bioactive compounds that unlock the sulforaphane in these foods. So if you're like trying to detox or trying to heal from cancer or excess estrogen or just, whatever, it's good to use this raw. However, my caveat, if you have thyroid issues, and I know a lot of people might say, cook your cruciferous vegetables because it's going to interfere with your thyroid. Well, let me let you know. If you have iodine deficiency, right, and a thyroid problem, yes, you're going to have problems. Okay? Only in the presence of iodine deficiency, because I don't think a lot of you check your iodine levels and the doctors don't check it either. You have to actually go and say, I need an iodine test, all right? But you can check your iodine, right? So make sure your iodine levels are great. And if you don't have a thyroid issue, you can definitely eat your cruciferous vegetables raw. But to help mitigate the effect of the goitrogens in cruciferous vegetables, I always say add some iodine-rich ingredients, maybe like dulse, maybe like Irish moss in the dressing, maybe like, what else could you add? Maybe have, what do you call it? Those chips, I forgot. Some kind of sea vegetables. You can have that in the menu or something. But that helps to buffer any goitrogenic effect from the cruciferous vegetables. Okay? If you need me to explain that again, I can. But this is just to protect you from the effects of goitrogenic foods, because cruciferous vegetables is very high in goitrogenic food. And you will hear a lot of people say you cannot eat it raw if you have hypothyroidism and all these kind of things. So that the problem only exists when you have low iodine, some thyroid problem, all right? But normally you can add some sort of buffer from iodine-rich foods to the recipe to help buffer your any effects from the goitrogens, all right? But you do need to eat those cruciferous vegetables raw in a juice or whatever to get the benefits of the sulforaphane. If you cook them, it's dead, okay? All right, so this is, I'm sorry?
Hi, Dr. Palmer.
Yeah.
Yes, we are at 8:30.
Oh, okay.
Yes, we're at 8:30. I don't know,
We did start a little late.
Madam Chair, I don't know if she wants what she would like to do. Madam Chair.
Hi, good evening. We can go ahead to finish.
Yeah, we have
Okay.
2 more
I
days.
just wanted to,
Faster. Is that okay with everybody?
that's
Dr.
okay with
Woodman?
me.
Okay.
That's okay with me, but I wanted to be sure with what you
Yes.
wanted to do. So, okay.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm enjoying it.
Yes, yeah. So I'm showing you the finished product. If I can eat it now, I would. Okay. This is the finished product, but I'll take pictures and send it over to you. Okay. All right. All right. So let's move on to the second to last dish. And that one is, yes. I made one at a time. Okay. All right. So our second to last dish is your tropical mango dessert. Well, it's not, it could be a breakfast or whatever. Chocolate mango chia parfait. So for this recipe, you'll need like a bowl or something to whisk the chia in. You need your thick coconut milk, your chia, your mangoes. I didn't create my puree, sorry, and a little bit of yogurt. It's not totally required, but it does add some beneficial gut bacteria to your breakfast meal. Okay. So I'm just gonna get my blender going so that we can blend up the mangoes. And then we'll be wrapping up soon. To check on the ice cream a little bit. All right, so I'm going to start making my base for the tropical smoothie. The tropical parfait, sorry. So we'll just make the base. Actually, we'll let that sit and we'll actually whip the chia so that it can start plumping up while we're making that. So we'll just throw the milk in here. See how thick my milk is? As thick as we could make it. So I'm gonna add my chia. So you want to just whisk that up until it gets nice and thick. Normally you would do this at night. I mean, for the demo, I just wanted to show you in the demo how you can do it. It will get nice and plump. I'm going to add the vanilla extract in there. A little bit more of the milk. And we are going to just whisk it up until it gets a little plump. All right. Anybody making this recipe? Any questions I can answer while I whisk this together?
We are making it. It's Joanne, Philip Spencer, and Avril.
Hi, Avril and Joanne. All right, so you're whisking with me?
We're whipping away.
All right. So I want to let you know this particular recipe is packed rich with omega-3 fatty acids. And we don't often talk about omega-3 fatty acids because I don't know why, but it is so important that we consume omega-3 rich fatty acid foods. Why? Every cell in your body has a cell wall. Every cell wall of those cells need a source of healthy fats. Fats that will make the walls pliable so that the right nutrients will come in and the right nutrients will go out. If we eat cooked oils, saturated fats, fried foods, roasted fats, baked fats, whatever kind of fats that is cooked, the structure of those fats are changed and they become free radicals in your body and they harden and stiffen your cell walls. And this is where we struggle with the diabetes and the cells are not detoxifying as they should because the walls have become so stiff. What needs to come out can't come out. All cells in your body need to detox. And if you eat the wrong fats, the toxins cannot come out. So omega-3 fatty acids are very, very good for your cell walls. It helps to make your cell walls pliable. And it also helps with circulation. Omega-3s are anti-inflammatory, and they're also heart-loving. So, but I'm going to let you know this. Plant-based omega-3 sometimes it's very difficult for people who might be sick to convert it to the type of fatty acids that your body may need to do what it needs to do for repair. So if we want to keep our omega-3s at a plant-based source, if somebody is sick or if they're struggling with something, I recommend you do an algae-based omega-3 fatty acids because you don't have to do that conversion, okay? Because your liver needs to have certain nutrients, and if you have liver issues, you're not doing that conversion, okay? So the body has to convert it from the plant-based source to the source that it can use to help with the healing, the cellular healing, all right? So, but for everyday breakfast use and stuff, you eat use a digestive enzyme if you're having trouble digesting, you know? But you need to eat omega-3 fatty acids, right? If you have more of those fats that you shouldn't be eating, your cells are in trouble. All right, and then your blood becomes thick and different things happen in your body. Is that no? Okay, I'll just use this. Oh, no worries. A little bit of water to thin it out a little bit. All right. All right, so I'm gonna let this sit plump up a little bit more. And I'll let my little helper here whip it for me. And then I'm gonna blend the mango down to make that mango puree. And of course, we know mangoes are rich in antioxidants. It's great for eye health. Oops, what happened here? My plug didn't go in there. We have mangoes all over the island, so don't tell me you don't have mangoes. All right. So this is great for you. This mangoes are great for your eyes. Very good for your eyes. Rich in vitamin A, good for your eyes. So now we're just gonna plate it, right? Very simple recipe. Now we're gonna just plate this recipe here. Very simple recipe. You can do this quick. You make your chia the night before, and then you could enjoy this for breakfast. Start your day off with some anti-inflammatory goodness, all right? So we're gonna start off with the mango puree in the bottom. But this is just for presentation. You don't have to get so fancy. All right. I'm gonna take all my something. All right, hold on here. There. Keep mixing that. All right, so we're going to. I'm gonna add now my layer of yogurt. Thick yogurt, so it won't sink in the puree. You want it thick, right? Thick yogurt. This is all for demo purposes. You don't have to do this at home. But of course, if you want people to eat these type of foods, they eat with their eyes first, right? So you want to make it very appealing for them. Okay. I'm sorry I didn't have my overhead camera so you could see much better. All right, this is the yogurt. So you put your layer of yogurt in there, right over the mango puree. Okay. And you could get omega-3s from flaxseed, from hemp seeds, walnuts, purslane. If you get good wild-caught salmon, you can get that from there. All right, we're going to see how good this does this. But now, we're going to put the chia on now. It will get as thick as it could right now, but if you leave it overnight, I'm sure you'll do better than I did. So this is you can make it in a bigger bowl. Doesn't have to be my little bowl. So how we doing? Who's making this?
We're doing good. We're layering our chia on now.
Wonderful.
Doing good.
Yes, I did going good. Yes, Dr. Wyman.
But the last dish is the kale salad, which you're making that. You start getting your ingredients ready.
You what?
The last dish is the kale salad. So if you're making that,
Yep, have everything set.
We have that already. Nice. I think that's enough. Yeah.
We could put some fruits to the top of our,
yeah,
oh,
that's
okay.
put some mangoes on top there. I hope you guys taking pictures because when I see you did something. I don't know if Rap TT wants the pictures.
Yes, Rap TT would love to have the pictures as well.
Oh, they should be taking pictures.
Yep. Send them to us at hello@raptt.org.
There you go. All
I'm
right.
doing some strawberries and blueberries.
I'm putting in some of my. I'm gonna put in some blueberries here.
And add some nuts to the top.
Yep, I'm gonna look at the blueberries on the side.
Okay.
Oh, that dehydrated. I have some crackers in there. You bring it. It's in the laundry room. Okay, so now laundry room. So now I'm gonna add some nuts to the top. On top, and I'm gonna add some. And we can have some nuts on the plate too. It's fine. And I'm just gonna stick a few mints in there. Just a mint in there.
This is a full meal.
This is a full meal. Just the crackers. Just the crackers. It's in there. All right. So just made a little bit of blueberry mess right here. Good. All right, so this is your finished product.
Right. Yeah. I need to get a place for it on, but let me get my plate.
Okay, that's your finished product. Hold it. All right, so that's the finished product. This is your tropical mango chia parfait, rich in omega-3 fatty acids, very anti-inflammatory, cellular healing, filled with lutein for the eyes, rich in antioxidants. So my friends, it's a simple breakfast meal that you're gonna enjoy. It's high in protein and also very high in fiber, all right? And it's heart protecting, the omega-3 fatty acids, all right? And the yogurt adds a little diversity, microbial diversity to the gut as well inside here. And you have the little protein from the nuts, and also the chia is rich in protein. So I hope you enjoyed this particular recipe. Thank you. All right, how did we do?
It's
Good.
delicious.
We have one more to get through.
It's delicious.
You love it? Oh, beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. All right, so let's get you I have to look at the ice cream because it was singing at me just now. So let's get you the last recipe, which is my kale salad. All right. And we're gonna get your dishes ready for the kale salad. All right. All right, so for this recipe, it's a very busy salad, but it's very healing to the body. All right. So for this recipe, you need your kale. Let me get my kale. And I told you to cut this, tear it with your hands, so it wouldn't get like oxidized on the edges and wouldn't look, horrible. So put it on the side so you can see. So we have our cilantro. The avocado is going to add as a healthy fat. So we're not adding oils to our salad dressing. So a lot of people use oils. Well, I'm here to tell you, oils don't grow on a tree. There's nowhere I see that oil is hanging off of a tree. I see avocados, I see sunflower seeds, I see food, full food. Oils were created commercially for you know what. So avocado is a healthy fat. And as I said, oils can cause free radical damage to your cellular wall. Why? Because a lot of these oils are extracted using petroleum byproducts. One in question is hexane. Hexane is cancer causing. So if you don't know the vendor, most of them use hexane because they get the maximum return on their processing, right? So oils are not food, right? So I'm going to use a whole fat to make the dressing, and it's really easy. We're going to use cilantro again, which is a heavy metal detoxification. We're going to add some protein sources. We have pumpkin seeds, we have hemp seeds. Hemp seeds are complete protein and also high in omega-3 fatty acids. And this is where we prepare our food with intentionality, right? We're thinking about what we're putting in our plate so that we can thrive at the table and thrive outside the table, okay? We have sprouted lentils. Sprouted lentils, again, has a lot of protein, and sprouting them makes all the nutrients become bioavailable. We're going to add some raw cabbage, a little bit of raw cabbage here. Again, this is a cruciferous vegetable, but it's very good for the gut, right? And it's very good to clear out extra estrogen in the body and to open up our natural detoxification pathway, right? We have some carrots, some onions, some bell peppers, pickled onions. So we'll just get started, okay? And some garlic. So I already prepared my kale. I'm just going to dump it in here. Oh, that's a lot of kale. I'm going to take a few out because we don't need all of this kale right now. I was 4 cups, but it looks like too much for me. So we're going to have the kale in there. And put that over there. And then I'm going to add a little bit of honey, or if you have date paste, that will help to kind of break down the strongness in the kale. I'm going to move my board to get more room as well. And I put my kale here. And we grab a gloves fast. All right. All right. Anybody making this particular recipe?
Yes.
Yes, we're making it, Joanne and Avril.
Perfect. So I tore up my kale in small pieces, you see. Now, a lot of people eat kale raw, just raw kale. It is very hard on your gut. You're going to tear up someplace. If you have like a sensitive gut, you're going to cause, your gut can't break down the fiber in this. You have to break the fiber down before it goes into your body. So massaging it helps to break down the fiber without actually cooking it. All right. Another alternative is like throw some hot water in it and take it. But you want to break down the fiber in the kale before you actually consume it. So this we're going to add in here our onions, diced onions. You're going to add our diced carrots. And you also want, when you eat raw vegetables, you want to make sure that you cut them up small. Like your carrots and your onions need to be small, because when you eat these raw vegetables, it doesn't taste good in your mouth when they're huge. You wouldn't want to eat it, and nobody will want to eat it. All right, so we want to make sure we break those down. All right, you want to cut them up really fine, julienne sizes. So we have a little bit of shredded cabbage in here. You're going to put that in there. And then we're going to add the peppers that we cut up as well. And we are going to I did not cut up my cilantro, so I'm gonna cut up the cilantro. I love a lot of cilantro in my salad, so I'm putting a lot in there. I even cut up the stems. I don't know why we throw the stems away. If you don't want to cut the stems up, you can put them in your juice when you're juicing. They are very good cleansers for the body. The cilantro, what's the one at home? I forgot what they call it. The one you grow in Trinidad. What's that one you grow in Trinidad? Shadowberry. Yeah, they're all from the same family. Yeah. All right, so I'm just tossing in my cilantro in there. And I do have the lentils. I'm gonna put that in there. I have some cumin. I'm gonna put the cumin in there. And I'm also going to add some garlic, and I do like a lot of fresh garlic because we know garlic is antimicrobial and also helps if you're suffering from high blood pressure, it can bring down your blood pressure. I know people have flu is going around, whatever is going around. Take your garlic.
Did you say to put some honey in there also?
Yes, that helps to kind of take the edge off of the, the bitterness of the kale. If you have like dates, you can make a date, like a date paste too. Yeah, date. All right. And I'm just hearing the Caribbean music in my brain. So if you see me shaking, it's because that's happening. All right, so I'm just gonna crush my garlic over the thing. All right. Crush my garlic in here. Get back. No. Put 2 more in there. So I think I put like 4 cloves in here. All righty. Crush the next 2. All right, how we doing? How we doing with the salad?
Good.
Wonderful. All right, let me get my avocado ready, but I do have some leftover from the last recipe that I also don't want to waste. I'm gonna put that in there. Waste not, want not. Avocados are expensive. All right. And a fresh avocado brings healthy fat. Oh my goodness. It adds vitamin E. You know what vitamin E does? The vitamin E protects the fats in the cell wall. It prevents them from oxidizing due to lifestyle choices and bad food that we eat. So you remember, we have to be very intentional about what we're eating. So I'm going to see if this avocado is good. Sometimes we buy these things, it's hit or miss with these avocados. So we'll just check on this one. Oh my goodness, this was a hit. They look very good. So we'll just start with this half one. Let's just see. I don't want to make it too sappy, so we'll start with half and see how that works. Might need the next half. A lot of kale, but we'll start with that one and see how it works. So let's get massaging. Okay, are we ready? We ready to massage? All right.
Did we put
sorry, I forgot my honey.
Did we put the carrot in yet?
I put the carrot and I'm gonna add a little bit of lemon juice.
Oh, okay.
I don't have fresh lemon juice. I have this bottle thing. I could take away from the purity of the recipe.
All right, let's massage. Let's go. So the sprouted lentils will get a nice flavor from all these herbs and spices in here. Oh, you know what? We forgot salt. But don't forget your salt. That helps with also breaking down fibrous walls of the kale. And this is a really nice dish that helps detox the cells and the body. And kale is also high in quercetin, which also helps with it's an antioxidant that's very cellular protective, protects the cells. All right, so let's just mix. We're gonna massage it until it gets nice and soft.
Forgot to put in my avocado.
I need the other half of this one. Where's the other half? Yeah, but then listen. You forget to put your avocado in?
Yeah. Gonna put it in.
Will you take all this one for me?
Some salted stuff.
Take in this eater and use this spoon. All right, so you need the avocado to help give you that nice creamy texture.
Okay. I'm gonna put it in.
Yeah. All right, so I'm gonna. Wait, I don't want all of it.
This looks so delicious.
Just as much avocado as you need.
I'm ready to eat it.
This is a pretty salad.
Yeah.
You use different colors of the rainbow. Do you know studies say if you eat 30 different kinds of fruits and vegetables every week, 30 or more, you increase your microbial diversity, and that's what helps to heal your gut lining, the diversity, and also eating a lot of foods that are rich in resistant starch. It helps to heal the gut. So every color or every food is 1 count for fiber intake, 1 count. So if for this week you have peppers, onions, garlic, kale, potatoes, just have something different. Have at least 30. That's what I tell those children when I teach them. Try different fruits and vegetables. All right, so I'm gonna taste this because it's massage. It's massage as much as I want it to be massage. I don't want it to get too sappy. If you need more cumin, you can add it. If you need more salt, more lemon, you can add it at this point. I think it's good enough for me. What's yours, Stacey? So now, since I don't have much more massaging to do, I'm gonna add in my hemp seeds. Remember I said hemp seeds, 3 tablespoons gives you 10 grams of protein already. If you're concerned about, I didn't prepare anything with meat here today, I'm gonna get protein deficient. Nobody goes protein deficient, okay? I'm gonna give you 10 grams of protein right there.
You also have your chia.
And plus chia, and I'm adding pumpkin seeds, which is high mineral, has magnesium, zinc. Okay, and I'm just gonna lightly toss it in there. Okay. Oh, and I put a little cayenne. I forgot the cayenne.
Some
You want
pumpkin
to
seeds.
cake with a little cayenne. All righty. How are we doing? So this is what mine look like. I'm gonna plate it now for you. Okay. I'm gonna just change off my gloves because this is dirty.
Excuse me.
Oops. Just gonna change off everything. All right, so I'm gonna plate this salad for you. I'm going to give me a minute here. We'll get this plated. All right. So now, are you guys ready to plate?
Yes.
Or you're eating?
No, we went into plate.
All right. So for my plating, You don't have to get as fancy as I did, but we're gonna wait. I told you to roast some potatoes. So this has like extra creaminess for those who need like a feeling of cooked food. I did over roast them a little bit in the oven, but because my oven played tricks on me. All right. All right. And now I'm just gonna stack it. All right, I'm actually going to put some more pumpkin seeds, hemp seeds on there. I'm going to add a little bit of pickled onions on top. Some beet, broccoli microgreen. I wonder if my crackers are gonna fit in there. Let's see. Let's see if my crackers fit in there. I have to do something here. Let's see how this one works. Okay. I'll put back my ropes around the edges. Put my thing around here. And that is it there.
I have a cracker, but my salad looks pretty good.
Wonderful.
Oh.
Let's take some pictures.
You know what?
Just gonna clean up around the plate here with some outside stuff. All right, so this is my salad. All right, and this is our last dish, actually. And this is our salad, very rich in a lot of minerals, very potent cell detoxifier. And it's delicious. It's high in protein, high in omega-3 fatty acids, rich in vitamin E. And the food isn't dead. Because we're alive, we need live food. All right. So if you guys want to share what your salad looks like, I'm happy to take a look. Oh, we need to check on our ice cream. Oh, totally forgot that. So while you're getting your salad together, I'm gonna check on my ice cream. Let's see what the ice cream is saying here. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna see if it's gonna do anything here. Oh no, it's not going anywhere. It's totally frozen. So let's reveal. Oh my goodness. Reveal the ice cream. Oh, let me see whose salad is. Whose salad is that one below there? That looks great. You guys did a great job. Let's see. Good job, girl. You did a wonderful job.
Thank you. Oh, that salad is good too. Whose salad is
Let
that?
me
Is
see
that
whose salad
Avro's?
is that?
That's Avro's. Oh, nice.
That
Beauty.
looks great.
I'm seeing the potatoes. That look nice.
Mhm.
One piece of chicken with it.
Mm.
That's beautiful.
So let me take the ice cream out so that I can get a picture of everything.
So the ice cream is in the fridge?
I put it in the fridge, yes.
All right, so I'm gonna plate my, I don't know. Okay. Now, how is it tasting? Is it sweet enough for the ice cream?
Oh, it's sweet. It's
Okay.
delicious.
All right. I'm going to plate mine now. I'm trying to get the ice cream maker out of the camera. All right, so this was the end product of my salad. All right. So we're just gonna put it over here for now. And we're gonna get the ice cream into the plate from the ice cream maker. Everything, I'll take it out and show you how it's frozen. See how it's frozen to the ice cream? It's very hard. That's the ice cream. Right? Okay, doing. Yeah, so let me scoop it out. And we're gonna do this one.
Oh no. No.
Oh, that's the ice cream in here. Ew.
Oh, that is nice. It's too rich and creamy.
It is really hard. All right. It's very, very, very hard. How's your ice cream coming out? Whoever did the ice cream, oh, it now separates. Wonderful.
My corners are nice and firm. The middle is still a little soft.
You made it in
the-
the, what did you make it in the
I
blender?
did it in my food processor.
Okay.
So I'm going to drizzle it with some of the chocolate stuff that we had from the Faro powder. And then put some strawberries on there.
All right, so we're gonna. This is not one serving, okay? This is not one serving. All right. I think it's very cool. Well, let's check the one I put in the fridge. It should be soft enough, or maybe too soft. This is the one we did in the fridge, right? So let's see how we got any from here. So if we scrape it, very nice. So like little lighter in color. Again, it's probably used a different well, a little contrast wouldn't hurt anybody. Contrast wouldn't hurt it. So that's my ice cream mount there. And I'm gonna taste this one. See how it's tasting. It's very good. Okay.
There's my ice cream.
Where is yours?
Are you seeing it?
No, you have to change the view.
Oh, I don't know.
Yes,
Ah.
I'm seeing it clearly. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I drizzled it with some of the chocolate stuff that we made first.
Now I'm gonna top it with some stuff.
After, did you do ice cream?
We didn't do the ice cream.
All right, so
Okay.
now we're gonna drizzle it with some raspberry sauce, some carob sauce, and some chips and whatever else. Raspberries in here and mint. And carob is, as I said, it's very good for you because it has a lot of calcium here. I'm gonna add a little bit of strawberries. Not strawberries, sorry, raspberries. You can add what fruit you like. Doesn't need to be.
This ice cream is delicious.
Oh boy. All right, sister. All right, so I'm going to put some keep saying strawberry, raspberry coulis on it. So we're just going to drizzle it with the coulis. And then we're gonna do the carb sauce. We'll do some carb sauce. Carb sauce is made from avocado and carob and dates. Okay. It's nice and dark and rich. Ooh, look at that. Let's do it in the different direction. See if it doesn't want to come out this way. Something is choking my. Ooh. We're gonna throw the chips on there. We're gonna put some pecans on there. Oh my goodness, I don't know who's eating this tonight. And we're just gonna add some mint to make it decadent. Okay.
Wow.
Decadent.
Delicious.
And mint helps with digestion. So don't feel guilty.
Okay, we gotta close.
All right, you're done. All right. This is the last recipe, and this is your ice cream, your decadent ice cream.
Oh, that's beautiful.
What? So, thank you.
There's no added sugar more than what came from nature. Okay, it's not gonna clog any arteries or cause diabetes.
Thank you so
All
much.
right, so we could wrap up now if there are no questions.
Thank you so much, Chef Natalie, for an amazing evening, for a fun, engaging, and very educational evening.
You are most welcome. My pleasure. Thank you for allowing me to spend this time with you.
Thanks. So good evening again, everyone. As we bring this beautiful month of celebration to a close tonight with Thrive at the Table, Women, Wellness, and Food, I am filled with joy and gratitude. Thanks again, Chef Natalie, for an amazing evening. What we've experienced together throughout March has been more than just a series of events. This has been a journey. We began on International Women's Day with Give to Gain, mentorship, empowerment, and legacy building, grounding ourselves in purpose and the power of lifting each other as we climb. We paused intentionally at the power pause, reminding ourselves that mental, financial, and emotional well-being and physical well-being are not luxuries, but necessities. We were inspired through story and voice at Reading to Rise as we explored Born in an Island with author Golda Lee Bruce. And we look forward to the impact continued through the RapTT Writers Collective. More information about that at raptt.org/writers. We continued with the introduction of The Girl in Me, where we opened the door to deeper reflection, healing, reconnection with, and the rekindling of a girlhood dream. The Girl in Me is a 2-month intergenerational journey that officially starts on April 15th, We invite you to join the journey toward accomplishing one of your goals or multiple of your girlhood dreams together with a sister. You're welcome to join, even if you weren't able to attend the introduction event. More information about that is available at raptt.org/event. Tonight, we close not just by nourishing our bodies, but by transforming the way we look at food. Food is medicine. And by strengthening our community with the understanding that thriving is something that we do together. To our visionary founders, Ambassador Brigadier General Retired Anthony W.J. Phillips Spencer and Mrs. Joanne R. Phillips Spencer, our moderators, Her Excellency Ambassador Yolande Y. Smith, Mrs. Arlene Hamblin Paul, and Ms. Fleur Callender. To our speakers and presenters, Ms. Janeer Hira, Mrs. Suniti Maharaj Best, Ms. Lincoln Dixie Lincoln Nichols, Ms. Samantha Griffith, Ms. Liesel Cummings Caesar, Dr. Christy Waterman, Mrs. Golda Lee Bruce, and Dr. Natalie Palmer. Thank you for your vision, for sharing your wisdom and expertise, and for your time, your vulnerability, and your excellence. To our RAPTT Women of Distinction 2026, Ms. Hazeland McLean, Ms. Maxine Barnett, and Ms. Nicole Julius, thank you for inspiring us and for reminding us of what is possible when passion, purpose, discipline, and integrity meet, and why this work that we do through RAPTT matters. To our Women's History Month planning team, your vision and execution made this entire celebration come to life. Thank you. To my fellow RAPTT executive board members, thank you for your leadership, commitment, and belief in our mission. To every attendee, thank you. Your presence, your engagement, and your willingness to celebrate and grow with us is what transformed these moments into a movement. As we leave tonight, let this not be an ending, but let it be a continuation. Continue the conversations, continue the connections, continue to choose yourself, your growth, and your impact. If you're not yet a RAPTT member, we invite you to join the sisterhood of women on the rise, resourceful, invested, selfless, and empathetic servant leaders who are passionate about making a difference. Visit raptt.org and click on the membership button. Remember, when we give to gain, when we give, we gain, and when women thrive, we all rise. Thank you. God bless you, and good night.
Good night, everyone. Good night,
Good night.
everyone.
Night. Thank you
Good
so
night,
much.
everyone. Thank you again. Thank you. I hope everyone enjoyed it.